Imagine waking up one morning. There's an empty plot of land across the street. You go to sleep that night. The next morning, there's a 10-story apartment building, fully wired, plumbing done, balconies out, ready to move in. That's not a simulation. That's not a render. That actually happened in China, filmed start to finish, 28 hours and 45 minutes. And then they built a 57-story skyscraper in 19 days. Then a 26-story residential tower in 5. For context, a mid-rise apartment in London or New York takes 3 years from permit to keys. Same planet, same decade, completely different centuries. Here's the part nobody's talking about. This isn't just a China story anymore. Right now, in Las Vegas, in Austin, in Denmark, a second wave of building technology is scaling fast. And together, these two revolutions are about to change how every human on Earth lives. Let's start with the problem, because it's worse than most people realize. Right now, the world is short 1.8 billion adequate homes, not a rounding error. 1.8 billion people living in conditions that don't meet basic standards. In the US alone, the housing deficit is projected to hit 1.5 million units by 2030. Labor shortages in construction cost the American economy $10.8 billion every single year. That translates directly to 19,000 homes that should exist, but don't, because there aren't enough workers to build them. And it's not getting easier. Building materials cost 41% more than they did before the pandemic. New tariffs on lumber and steel are adding thousands more to every single build. The average age of a construction worker in America is over 40. The pipeline isn't replacing them fast enough. 69% of Americans told Pew Research they are very concerned about housing costs. The average home price in the US now exceeds $350,000 and rising. So, we have a crisis, a real compounding, accelerating crisis. And into that crisis, two technologies are moving at a speed that should make every developer, every government, every construction company on Earth sit up and pay attention. Point 1. The air conditioning guy who rewired construction. Zhang Yue made his name and his money building central air conditioning systems. His company, Broad Group, became one of China's biggest HVAC manufacturers. That was his world. Then, in 2008, a magnitude 8.0 earthquake tore through Sichuan province. Nearly 70,000 people died. Tens of thousands of concrete buildings, schools, hospitals, homes, didn't just crack. They collapsed entirely. Zhang watched the aftermath and asked one question: why are we still building this way? Concrete is rigid. When the ground moves violently, it doesn't bend, it breaks. He'd spent his career building precision systems inside factories. He knew exactly what controlled manufacturing could do at scale. So he took his entire infrastructure, factory floors, engineering teams, supply chains, and pointed it at a completely different problem. Not cooling buildings, building them. The system he invented, broad sustainable building, works like this. Every component is manufactured inside a 230,000 square meter factory. Walls, floors, balconies, all of it. Each finished module ships the size of a standard container. Fold the walls down. Fold the windows and balconies out. Electrical wiring, plumbing, and ductwork are already fitted inside before the module leaves the facility. Trucks carry them to the site. Cranes position them. Steel bolts lock them together. It's not a construction site. It's an assembly zone. That distinction is everything. Traditional construction builds one piece at a time in the open air, exposed to weather, waiting on deliveries, dependent on dozens of separate trades showing up in the right order. This system builds every piece in perfect conditions and snaps the finished result together on location. Point 2. The numbers that broke the internet. They filmed it. Full-time lapse, start to finish. 28 hours and 45 minutes for a complete 10-story residential apartment building. The footage hit millions of views. Engineers and architects watched it on loop, and the industry split right down the middle. Half said, "It changes everything." The other half called it a controlled stunt. Broad Group's response was to build bigger. Mini Sky City, 57 stories, 204 meters tall, 800 apartments, office space for 4,000 people, built by 1,200 workers at a rate of 3 floors per day. It eliminated an estimated 15,000 truck deliveries of wet concrete. A conventional build at that scale takes close to 2 years. This one took 19 days. Then came Jingdu, a 26-story residential tower, assembled in just over 5 days by a crew of roughly 100 workers. A team that could fit on a single bus building, something taller than most downtown apartment blocks in any major city. The steel modules they use are 10 times lighter than conventional concrete panels and 100 times stronger under load. The structures are rated to withstand a magnitude 9 earthquake, independently verified by the China Academy of Building Research. Expected lifespan, 1,000 years. Compare that to a conventional concrete building, which is designed for 50 to 100. And when the building eventually reaches end of life, it can be fully disassembled and recycled. Construction waste drops by over 90%. Point 3. The American company trying to do this to houses. On the other side of the planet, a startup in Las Vegas called Boxable is doing something that sounds almost identical, except for houses. Their flagship product is the Casita, a fully factory-built home that folds up for delivery and unfolds on-site. Inside the box, full kitchen, bathroom, living area, bedroom, pre-wired, pre-plumbed. More than 60 patents on the technology, valued at $3.5 billion, over $235 million, raised from 60,000 investors. They've already delivered over 800 units. They've built 3 factories in North Las Vegas and are scouting a 4th, what they're calling a monster facility in Texas. The vision is explicit: build homes the way Toyota builds cars. Same process, same assembly line, same repeatability. But here's what makes the Boxable story even more telling and more frustrating. In the very state where their factories operate, they spent years fighting to get regulatory approval. Nevada only cleared them in early 2025. California followed. They're now approved in over a dozen states. But it took years, lawyers, and relentless lobbying just to be allowed to sell a home that a factory can build in hours. The bottleneck isn't the technology. It never was. Point 4. The printers are coming. And then there's the third force, the one that might be the most disruptive of all. Icon, based in Austin, Texas, doesn't stack modules or fold walls. Their robotic printers layer a proprietary concrete mixture, pass by pass, wall by wall, until a complete structure emerges. They've already completed nearly 200 homes and structures across the US and Mexico. Homes for the homeless. Military barracks for the US Army, affordable communities for families in Texas. In 2026, Icon is rolling out their next-generation system, the Titan, a multi-story capable printer designed to go beyond single-family homes and attack the apartment market directly. Each of their printers does the job of more than a dozen construction workers. They're now opening their platform to outside builders, giving small and mid-sized developers access to robotic construction without taking on the technical risk themselves. In Denmark, Europe's largest 3D printed housing project, 36 student units across 6 buildings, was completed in 2025. In the Middle East, a 3D printed villa set a Guinness World Record for the largest structure printed in a single build. The market for 3D printed homes was $97 million in 2025 and is on track to hit $4.7 billion by 2033, a growth rate of 62% per year. Same underlying logic as Broad Group. Same underlying logic as Boxable. Get off the open site. Get into controlled, automated, repeatable systems. Eliminate the three bottlenecks that have defined construction for a century: time, waste, and human labor dependency. Here's the thing that makes all of this so maddening. The technology works. The proof is there. The market is $95 billion and growing. Institutional investors are in. Governments are starting to move. And most of the world is still building the same way it did in 1970. The reason isn't a lack of invention. It's a lack of permission. Building codes in most countries were written for concrete and timber. They don't know what to do with factory-assembled steel modules or 3D printed walls. In Detroit, a nonprofit spent over a year fighting regulators to build a single 3D printed home and was forced to reinforce the walls with extra concrete because the building code wouldn't allow printed walls to be load-bearing. In states across America, Boxable couldn't legally sell a home that their factory could build in hours. There's a term in economics: regulatory lag, the gap between what technology can do and what the law allows it to do. Right now, that gap is costing us $10.8 billion a year in lost housing production in the US alone. Globally, it's contributing to a deficit of 1.8 billion adequate homes. The future of construction isn't waiting on a new invention. It's waiting on the world to catch up to what already exists, and the gap is starting to close. California has made industrialized construction a core policy priority for 2026. The European Investment Bank just committed 400 million euros specifically to scale modular methods across Europe's housing sector. Singapore already mandates modular construction for public housing. The UK, Japan, South Korea, all moving in the same direction. The question is no longer whether this technology works. The question is how much longer the rest of the world makes people wait for it. A 10-story building in 28 hours. A foldable home delivered by truck and assembled in an afternoon. A robotic printer laying the walls of an entire neighborhood while the city sleeps. This isn't the future. It's already happening, right now, on this planet, in this decade. The only question is, when does it reach your city? Subscribe and turn on notifications, because what's coming next is going to change where you live, how much it costs, and who gets to own a piece of it. You don't want to miss this.